I'm Amanda.
And I'm also Amanda.
And this is Idiots Explain, a podcast where one Amanda tells another Amanda about a topic.
And that other Amanda knows nothing about it.
This week, we are doing something
okay.
very close to my heart.
Oh boy.
It's something recent.
Okay.
Oh, and I, for some reason, have a very emotional attachment to it.
Okay.
And it is The Adventure Zone.
The Adventure Zone?
It is a podcast. So, on this, our podcast episode, I would like to talk about another podcast.
Podcastception! The Adventure... This wasn't the one that you showed me with the three brothers, right?
No, but it's the three brothers plus their dad.
Okay. I feel like you showed me this one time, but...
I talked to you about it. I showed you their other podcast called My Brother, and Me.
Oh, yeah. That was the one that you showed me.
Yes. The Adventure Zone is a different podcast that they do with their dad. It is a D&D podcast.
Oh, wait, no, I'm thinking of something totally different. Carry on.
Are you thinking of Critical Role?
No.
Okay.
All I know is that I'm thinking of a D&D video where this one guy is like a dark wizard and he's in character the whole time wearing like a Gandalf costume.
I also want to preface this episode, whereas I've never played a game of D&D in my life.
I have.
Okay.
I was really, really bad at it.
Okay. I have only been into the Adventure Zone since this summer.
Okay.
But it has become very close and dear to my heart.
Okay.
And I love it a lot. And I have been thinking about this episode, and I'm so excited to do it because I love it so much.
Okay, alright.
And I feel like this is probably the most excited you've ever seen me.
Okay.
So, one of the reasons I really wanted to do this episode now was I've just finished re-listening to the podcast for the third time. It is roughly an 80-hour
What?
podcast. Well, okay, I should also preface that The Adventure Zone is a podcast. I'm going to be specifically talking about their main campaign, which is called The Balance Arc. So,
The Balance Arc.
So they did this whole campaign. It is roughly 80 hours.
Okay. Not all in one go, I'm assuming.
No.
Okay.
It is like 69 episodes.
69 dudes, which is funny because we just got done talking about Bill and Ted's.
But yeah, the last episode is about almost 3 hours long.
Jesus.
And I love it so much. I feel like the vibe of this episode is going to be very similar to when you did Phantom.
Oh my god.
Because I'm just going to stop and just say how much I love it a lot.
I will remind you, this scene is great.
Okay.
Oh
so,
boy.
This is why I didn't have time to prepare, notes for this.
You didn't have time to write out your love story?
I did not. And I wanted to because I feel like I'm just going to sit here and think about it, and I'm going to get off track a lot.
That's fine.
So, like I said, this is a D&D podcast by the McElroy brothers, who have a series of podcasts. I showed you their original podcast, My Brother and Me.
Yeah, they were alright. I'm not gonna lie. They're not really something I would listen to, but carry on.
Yes. So this is a podcast with the three brothers and their father.
Mm-hmm.
None of them have really played D&D.
Oh no. Please tell me they have a well-versed dungeon master though.
Oh no. So their dungeon master is one of the brothers.
Oh god,
who has played it a few times. He's played it the most out of the four.
Oh no.
And I think one of the other brothers has played it once or twice, and then the other brother and the dad have never played it.
Oh my god, no, that must be so hard because I've played Dungeon World more than I've played Dungeons and Dragons, and Dungeon World is just like a D&D light.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more simple, which I appreciate because I don't care that much.
Yeah, this is a very simple kind of edited version of D&D.
Okay, but when you're Dungeon Master, there's usually at least for Dungeon World, there's story behind it.
Yes.
But D&D, you have to know everything. You have to really be into world building and know how to play the game.
They build a world.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So, how do I even? But so it's the three brothers and their dad, and so they don't have a full party because there's only 3 people in their party.
Oh no!
Because it's a podcast of 4 people, and one of them's the dungeon master. There is a fighter, a wizard, and a cleric.
I remember from my D&D group, we had hear me out. We had a ranger, a druid, a ranger, a cleric, and we had 2 bards.
I want to see a campaign all bards. I just want 6 bards.
All I know is by the end of it, I had a little goblin that rode around with me who really liked my music, and I remember I compared myself to like that Road to El Dorado blonde guy. Who, you see that gif of him like
yeah.
I loved it. I would always compare myself to this, but 2 bards. That was always fun. And then it's like we almost died to like a pack of sick wolves and like 10 zombies.
That's cool.
But
then,
back
to my thing.
But then we single-handedly beat like a level 18 like banshee and a level like 20 wizard with absolutely no,
just like sheer luck.
Literally
just
out of
some
sheer
good
luck.
rolls.
Exactly. But anyway.
Okay, so like I said, there is a fighter, a wizard, and a cleric.
Okay.
So the fighter is the only it's the only one that he kind of took the time to create. The other 2 are kind of from the book that they just kind of like, for now, like, this is your character and we can build upon it.
Yeah.
So that is the Middleist brothers person, and he apparently created a whole backstory for like pages and pages.
Oh my god.
And then the other 2 are the oldest brother and the dad, who have never played. So they kind of got these pre-rolled characters from the book to play. And so they kind of...
Understandable, since it's your first time and you have no idea what you're doing.
Okay.
It's confusing as hell.
Yes. And so I want to tell you their names, because I feel like that would be helpful.
Probably.
So the fighter is Magnus Burnsides.
Of course it is. What? Magnus Burnside?
Yes.
Okay.
He was a carpenter, a very well-respected carpenter, who lost his kind of whole like family town situation and became an adventurer.
Nice.
The second character is Merle Highchurch, a dwarf cleric. Oh, the fighter's a human, by the way.
Okay.
A dwarf cleric.
Is that who the dad's character? No.
The one I'm currently speaking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, Merle Highchurch is the dad.
That sounds
Magnus Burnsides is the middleest brother.
That sounds like a dad character. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And he is kind of a deadbeat dad character who kind of like turned to adventuring.
Nice.
And they joke that he's like the worst cleric. Because the running joke of the show is he doesn't heal.
Oh, good.
It's like
what's the point of the cleric?
It's like episode 30. It's like, oh, I think that's the first time I've healed somebody.
Sounds like me in my dungeon world. I was a thief and I never stole anything.
I know. And then the final character in it, the oldest brother here, is my favorite character. Okay. And I have a very strong love of him. His name is Taco.
Taco?
Taako. You know, from TV.
Yeah, sure.
That's how he introduced it. He's like, I'm Taco. You know, from TV.
Oh,
but TV doesn't exist.
This in his world.
He used to be a traveling cook. So he had a cooking show that he would travel through and do. And some bad things happened and he had to kind of run away. And from that, he kind of became an adventurer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's my favorite character and I love him a lot.
Wait, what is he?
Oh, he's an elf wizard.
He would be an elf.
Yeah, he would. I love him a lot. Okay. And so, how they start out, so they have the characters, they go through the whole, like, rigmarole of, like, what the characters are, and their first arc of the campaign is kind of from the book. So, for those of you who know, like, Dungeons & Dragons, they're doing, version 5.
I couldn't tell you that
just
far.
For, if anyone listens to this that knows it, they're doing the 5th edition, that's the term. And so they do kind of a campaign or a thing out of that.
Okay.
And so they go, it's called Here There Be Gerblins.
Here There Be Gerblins?
Yes. And so they're going off into a cave to kind of help recover some stuff for Merle's, like, cousin?
Okay.
Uncle person, a relative of his, because they have a whole dwarven mine that's full of treasures. So they go on, like, their thing to go there. Accompanying them is Merle's cousin, whose name I forget, which is fine, because he dies.
Is it a dwarf too? Oh, no.
Well, yeah, it's his cousin.
I don't know.
Yeah, and also accompanying them is a human who's, I guess, like, Merle's cousin's bodyguard, called Barry Blue Jeans.
Very Blue Jeans.
Oh, and so they kind of go through that. They meet the Bugbear Clark.
What?
Who is, like, the boss.
The Bugbear? Okay. All right, fine. Okay.
Clark.
I see a pattern of these names.
Well, they kind of, like, started off with, like, the names from the book, and then they kind of went, fuck it, I can name this whatever I wanted. I can name a character blue jeans if I wanted to.
Bear McBear.
Bear McBootersnight. So, and then they kind of meet the mini boss, Clark, and they charm him, and he offers them tea, and they talk about, even though they try to throw his dog in the fire.
No!
But yeah, so they kind of charm him, and they're like, hey, your, like, underling wants us to kill you because he doesn't like you, and there's a whole, like, situation there.
Yeah.
And they get through that, people die, blah, blah, blah.
So it goes. Does the dog die?
No, the dog's fine.
Oh, thank God.
And then they kind of are able to continue through the thing where they meet their first, like, boss, Magic Brian.
Okay.
Or, as he's better known, the Black Spider. And his companion, an actual Black Spider that's also named Brian.
Not to
So there's, like, Black Spider Brian, and then there's Black Spider Magic Brian. And so, like, this is kind of their learning arc, where they're kind of all introduced to, like, the mechanics of D&D. And so it's very kind of like, oh, what's this? You roll this. It's an
what's
introduction.
Perception? What's Constitution?
Yes.
What does this mean? What does that mean?
Mm-hmm. So it's just a lot of teaching. And so they get into the thing, and they realize there's no treasure in the safe.
Wait, time out. Hold on. Did they start this game with their characters already done? Because I was like, if that must have been like 3 episodes, the character development must have been like 3 characters.
They did character development prior.
Okay, because that literally when I did it, it took me and my crew like 4 hours.
Like I said, Magnus was the only one who was actually created. The other 2 had kind of like rolled characters. Yeah. And so they get into the safe and they realize, oh, this is wrong. It's all like black glass. Mm-hmm. And as they venture into the safe, they find Merle's cousin, and he is wearing this gauntlet. And it kind of turns him crazy, and he can, like, spit fire all of a sudden.
Jeez.
Or, like, fire through the glove.
This sounds very done D&D.
Hey everybody, Picard here. Just a heads up before heading into the next bit. Grivas began to lose her voice after the last part, so just a heads up, she'll be talking more softly from here on out. And also, the next bit of audio got damaged somehow, no idea, and I'm not skilled enough to know how to fix it, so for a little while it's gonna be a little bit scratchy and whatever, but it doesn't last forever. So thank you for listening, and back to the show.
Okay, so I got a little too excited. I hurt my throat, and so now we're just gonna have a quiet time on my end. So they discover Merle's cousin in an empty safe that has now black glass, wearing the
Magic Fire Gauntlet.
Yes, we learn is called the Phoenix Fire Gauntlet later.
Cool.
Yes.
All right.
And so basically it kind of takes over him and sends him on this rampage. It basically makes him head back into town, the town of Phandalin.
I really like all the names that come with, like, D&D. I don't remember any of them from my game, but they're still fun.
So they travel back there. Barry Blue Jeans tries to kind of get everyone to cover and talk Merle's cousin down. They are almost able to talk him out of the gauntlet until a young orc boy shoots Merle's cousin in the back with an arrow.
Jeez.
Which is a young orc boy they rescued on their way.
Say young orc boy one more time.
Young orc boy.
I don't know why that amuses me so much.
On the way back to Phandalin.
Okay.
So they basically saved this young boy that ended up shooting Merle's cousin.
Yeah.
And so Merle's cousin, we also find out in that same kind of gap, is like racist against orcs.
Wow, okay.
And so it kind of fuels his rage, and he kind of explodes in a fiery doom and turns Phandalin into a ball of black glass. And
Wait a minute. You know what?
Phandalin is from 5th edition, so it's like a actual proper city, like from the D&D lore.
This sounds familiar because my group, we only had like 4 sessions before we broke up, but we did go to a city that was like in ruins, and there was a gauntlet that we had no idea what it did.
Yeah,
I think it was like a black city. And Phandalin sounds vaguely familiar, so I wonder.
So like the first few episodes of the Adventure Zone is based off a book, a D&D kind of set book.
Okay. That
they kind of play off of at the beginning. Luckily, our group of our 3 boys are saved by a late. Oh no, what's her name? This is gonna be a trend. I'm really bad with names.
It's okay.
I can remember someone else's name, but not hers.
Can you describe her? Did she have like red hair or?
I don't. Killian. Killian.
Cool.
So they are rescued by Killian, who they met in the mines, who is there for a certain reason they don't know. And
the mines of Moria.
And she can't tell them. She's physically unable to tell them why she is there and what she is looking for.
Alright. Kind of like Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah. Every time she tries to say anything,
Yeah.
or like anything helpful,
Yeah.
all they hear is static.
Weird.
And so she kind of rescues them by having them all jump into this well. And they are saved because they're all in the well. And they kind of come out and they realize Finland's gone. Everyone in Finland is dead and gone.
Jesus.
And so, but they are able to recover the gauntlet. And Killian is like amazed that they were able to do this. She's like, you got it. And so because they were able to recover this artifact, she takes them to the group she is a part of, which is a moon base in the sky.
What?
And this is kind of where the Adventure Zone takes a hard left turn from like regular D&D.
Yeah, slight.
And so once they're up there, we realize there is a group or an organization called the Bureau of Balance.
Okay. Appropriate. Nice name.
Yes, or Bob for short.
Of course. Of course.
And so there they meet the director, and she kind of initiates them into, and they have to be initiated not only through a trial test, but by drinking the liquid of the void fish.
The what now?
The void fish.
Okay.
Which is a giant jellyfish-esque being.
Fuck.
Which you ingest its liquid that it lives in.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, they know things. And all that static they heard before is gone.
I know things.
And they come to know that the void fish can erase facts from the world. And that's why in the cave, when Killian was trying to tell them, she couldn't. Because
that information doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. And so they drink the void fish's liquor, they go through the trial test, and they are now reclaimers, set out to reclaim the 6 grand relics. And they are the first ones to ever bring back an artifact successfully.
Bureau of Balance sounds like they really suck at their job.
Exactly. So the artifacts have a thrall, and basically no one has ever been able to fight off the thrall. Like, an example, Merle's cousin. So their mission is to now recover the rest of these artifacts. So the first one was the Phoenix Fire Gauntlet.
Were you about to say fear fucker?
I was fear fawn. I don't know.
I'm a mother pheasant plucker. I pluck mother pheasants.
So I'm just going to kind of name all of the grand relics now, so we can kind of just go back to them. So we have the fear fire. Oh, I can't.
Oh my god!
I can't say the word.
The Phoenix Fire Gauntlet?
Yes.
Okay.
The Oculus.
Rift?
They make that joke. Which is an illusion magic.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yes, and then the Gaia Sash, which is a sash or a belt that a person wears and can now control weather and plants and such. Gaia,
yeah.
Yes. Next is the Philosopher's Stone. Not the Harry Potter one.
Full Metal Brother.
Oh yeah, that
Full
one
Metal
too.
Alchemist Brotherhood?
Yeah, I never saw Brotherhood. I saw the first one.
Oh my god! You need to watch Brotherhood. That's the only anime that I ever watched, and I freaking love it.
But yeah, so the Philosopher's Stone is transmutation magic.
Yes.
Which is used to kind of create gems that create portals into other dimensions.
That is way different than FMAB.
Yes, and kind of into different zones of the universe.
Okay.
The next one is the Temporal Chalice, which can control time.
Cool.
And basically, in the arc, the chalice gives them the opportunity to go back in time and rewrite their biggest mistake.
Wow.
So it's a big thing. And then the Animus Spell.
The Enema Spell?
The Animus Spell.
What is that?
It is used by these 2 liches.
What?
Liches.
Liches?
Liches.
Okay.
That is kind of used to stabilize them, and so they can continue to absorb suffering from people in order to fuel their beings. And they create this whole...
Are they like Dementors?
Well, a lich is basically completely magical energy of a person.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what the hell is a lich?
Yeah.
We found a lich. May we burn her?
And then the final one is the bulwark staff.
A bulwark staff?
Yes, which we find out is in plain sight the entire time.
Oh my god.
And so they go on missions to recover these.
Okay.
They go on the Rockport Limited, which is a murder mystery where they are able to recover it. For the Gaia Sash, they travel to the like this basically very industrial city and have to do like a drag race. Like an actual one, not like the drag queen ones.
Oh, not RuPaul Drag Race, but like
they have to join up with Inspector Hurley, who takes part in these illegal races on the outside of town.
This sounds very different than any other D&D group I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
Is he gonna like pull out a Demogorgon anytime? Do you have any idea what that means?
I know it's from
Stranger Things?
Yes.
Have you watched Stranger Things?
No, I have not.
Cool.
So yeah, to kind of take down this person who has the Gaia Sash, and the only way to get it from her is to beat her kind of at her own game.
Okay.
The next one, which is my personal favorite, the Philosopher's Stone, takes place on what we would consider Christmas.
Right.
But it's not called Christmas in the game. But
it's called Krampus.
But they basically have like a few hours to save a lab in space that has become crystallized.
A lab?
A lab.
Okay.
Yeah, like a floating lab in space. Like
I thought you said lab. For a second there, I thought you said lap.
Oh no,
it's like
lab.
Whoa.
And one of their own people had gotten hold of a relic and had been playing with it and using it.
Like you do.
Yes. And so they had to recover that. And honestly, that is probably my favorite like mini arc of the whole campaign. Do you know what Vocaloids are?
No.
They're kind of like robotic, kind of synth-sounding musicians. They're really popular in Japanese culture. But it's basically like a robotic voice that will sing. And it creates such an atmosphere. It's very lovely. And I really enjoy it.
It's not like Daft Punk or whatever. Where it's
no.
I
will play it. No. I'll play some of it for you.
Stop me anytime.
No. After that, they have to go recover the Temporal Chalice, which is in this like old western town that is time sick. It is stuck in an hour loop.
Ew.
And so it's just going over and over again because when it hits noon, they all die. And then it resets to 11.
Oh, wow.
And so they have
that sucks.
Yeah, so they kind of have to keep going through these 1 hour loops to figure out what's causing the explosion, what's causing this, and what.
This sounds like a Majora's Mask,
yes.
Groundhog Day, live, die, repeat stuff.
It's basically that. And then after that, they go and meet the liches I told you about. They run a place called Wonderland, which can offer you the thing you most desire.
A whole lot different than the Wonderland I'm used to. However, if there's a Cheshire Cat smiling around, I'm gone.
But this arc that's centered around Wonderland is called the Suffering Game. Because basically, you are trapped in this basically like loop, a different loop of just like rooms where you just have to keep losing and fighting until you have nothing. So you have a fight where you can't heal in Wonderland because that's cheating. And then between fights, you have to spin a wheel where you lose something, whether that's a finger, HP, like life,
like health, yeah.
Yeah, or your looks or a talent. You lose something every time until you were nothing. And they meet someone who's lost basically everything, who is just a head. Who is being kept alive through the magic of Wonderland.
That sounds very Wonderlandish, yeah.
Yes, and so through all the suffering, the liches are being fueled, but they recover it. And after that, they kind of team up with this other lich who helps them out in Wonderland.
Oh.
Who is it's basically a spectral being in a red robe who they've been warned about by the director. Uh-huh. Or, as we learn on Christmas, Lucretia. Lucretia.
Of course.
She tells them not to trust the red robes. Don't talk to them. If you see them, run away.
Yeah.
But in Wonderland, the lich communicates with Magnus.
Okay.
Because in between episodes, Magnus has learned some thief tools, so he knows thieves' cant, which is like a language of between thieves that's like kind of like sign language, but it's hand signs. And it's also like you can like kind of write in people's.
Yeah.
And so throughout all of Wonderland, this lich helps them through, which they thought was a bad guy.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, they kind of team up with him and realize the Bureau of Balance may not be quite what they thought it was. And so they go through a whole rigmarole of going against the Bureau of Balance and helping this lich sneak in. And we find out this lich is Barry Blue Jeans.
Whoa.
Yes.
Plot twist!
Plot twist! Who, in his lich form, knows everything, but in its human form,
Knows nothing.
forgets everything, because in your lich form, you're not bound to the world, and so you're no longer under the Voidfish's spell.
Yeah. Remind me really quick, which one's Berry Blue Jeans?
Berry Blue Jeans was in the first arc. He was the bodyguard of Merle's cousin.
Oh, okay.
So he was kind of a throwaway character who we kind of learned is actually a very important character.
Okay. Berry Blue Jeans. All right.
Berry Blue Jeans. And they follow this lich back to his kind of hidey hole in a cave where he's growing a body.
What the hell, Frankenstein?
Yeah. And then they realize, oh, this is Berry Blue Jeans, and now we have to trust him because he knows something we don't know, and now he also doesn't know because he's back in his body.
Nobody knows.
And so they sneak Barry back into the Bureau of Balance, which he cannot go in his lich form because they can sense him.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. And so they sneak back in, and they sneak into the director's office. And they go through this whole sequence of events, and they find out there is a second Voidfish. A baby Voidfish.
Oh, babies.
Yeah, Magnus, who has the whole campaign, have a weird connection to the main Voidfish. He kind of figures out it's singing this song. And the notes are E-G-G-B-A-B-E. Egg Babe.
Egg Babe.
And he kind of deduces
Egg
that
Babe.
there's...
What's up?
The Voidfish has a baby.
Oh.
And it's being kept in secret in Lucretia's office.
No, babies.
Yes.
Lucretia, no.
Yes.
No,
and so,
Lucretia.
So, I should mention, Merle, Taco, and Barry are the ones to first find this baby Voidfish.
Okay.
Because Magnus, in Wonderland, lost his body.
Oh, shit.
And he was a mannequin.
Oh, damn.
And they find out that a fan favorite character, Garfield the Deals Warlock, has been growing a Magnus body, similar to how Berry Blue Jeans was regrowing his own body for his lich form to re-inhabit.
Uh-huh.
And so Magnus has his own time with a Voidfish, and then he goes back and re-inhabits this body that was being grown by Garfield the Deals Warlock, who runs Fantasy Costco.
Garfield the What?
Fantasy Costco, where all your dreams come true. Got a deal for you. It's the theme song of Fantasy Costco.
Fantasy Costco.
Yes,
Jesus
and so
Christ. Okay.
once they're all kind of reconnected, they drink the liquid of the baby Voidfish to re-inoculate themselves, because they had to inoculate themselves with the original Voidfish's ichor. And so once they do that, they are sent on a 100-year journey where they realize everything and all of these revelations.
All this information just pouring into their head.
Yes. And
Again,
this
kind of like the everything in Full Metal Alchemist. I'm seeing parallels
yes,
to many
basically
a thing.
they remember what is called the Stolen Century, where they find out they are actually from another world.
What?
And we're and we're a part of this kind of research faculty or organization that was going to go out and research the planes. And as they were leaving that, a whole black being devours their world, which they call the Hunger.
Wow.
And they are now stuck in a century of going to a different plane, being there for a year, and having to leave when the Hunger comes. Because the Hunger is seeking what they name the Light of Creation.
Okay. This sounds like the Nothing from Neverending Story. I'm parallels, man. Parallels.
I've never seen that.
Nice.
Yeah. And so they are stuck. They do this 100 times
Jeez.
until they land on what their current world that this whole story has been taking place on.
All right.
And we find out that Lucretia erased all their memories by feeding their entire journey through those 100 years to the Voidfish.
Okay.
So they didn't. That's why they don't remember
nothing.
anything.
All right.
And so they realize all this information's been stolen from them. They realize they were a crew. It was the three of them. It was Lucretia. It was Davenport, who was like her gnome butler. It was Barry, who was also on their team.
Yeah.
And Taco realizes he had a twin sister that he forgot about, and it's gone and lost.
Is her name Burrito?
Her name's Loop.
Okay.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of emotion, and it kind of culminates into this final battle, because the Hunger's back, and it's attacking them.
Oh my god. Dude, I know the feeling.
Yeah, and they realize, so something they didn't mention was Taco in Here There Be Gerblins, the first kind of...
Gerblins.
Gerblins found this umbrella that was like strangely kind of drawn to, it wanted to be him. He found it.
Is this the cane?
Huh?
The cane or the whatever?
It's an umbrella.
Never mind.
It's an umbrella.
You said that one artifact or whatever was in plain sight.
I'm sorry, I forgot about that. The bulwark staff.
The bulwark staff.
Was Lucretia's staff that she's had this entire time.
Ooh.
Yes. And so, but no, Taco picked up this umbrella that he found on a skeleton that was draped in a red rope in their first cave adventure.
Alright.
And
first cave adventure.
And
Finidagger adventure!
Like how Barry's lich form had a red robe on it, and how they now remember their 100-year journey where they were part of the IPRE, which had a red cloak uniform. Taco breaks his umbrella and realizes his sister's lich form had been trapped in this umbrella the entire time.
Wow.
And had been trying to reach out to him. And all of a sudden, his sister's back.
Burrito!
No, it's Loop. This is a very, like, serious moment.
I'm gonna call her Burrito.
No, please don't.
Please.
No, please don't.
Okay, fine.
I will cry.
Loop, fine.
Loop.
Whatever.
I love her. I love
all right,
them all.
Loop.
So, and they have to do one last battle with the hunger. And of course they win. I'm not going to go into too much...
I wish I could win against my hunger.
And I'm not going to go into too much detail with the final battle, because it is about 6 hours.
Jesus Christ!
And it's 3 episodes. The last episode, 3 hours long.
Jeez. That's one of the things about D&D. It is time consuming.
Yes.
So time consuming.
Oh, but it's so good. But that's basically the whole general story.
Okay.
Not going into too much detail. I also forgot to mention Taco is dating the Grim Reaper.
Jesus, well, hold on.
Named Kravitz.
What the? Wait, hold on. Okay, you know what? Fine. You know what? Fine. I'll accept this. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah. He's dating. So now I'm gonna go into more like, now that I've laid out the whole story, I guess I can talk more like fun fact things.
Okay.
Like Taco is dating what is basically the Grim Reaper Kravitz.
Okay.
Who is a servant of the Raven Queen and basically kind of does the bidding of like collecting the dead people.
Yeah. As is the Grim Reaper's want.
Yes. He is a very handsome man in a very nice tux. But when he goes into his reaping form, he's a skeleton.
I was gonna say, maybe that's why I want death so often.
Maybe. And the first time Taco and Kravitz meet, Taco performs a spell, which is basically attack of black tentacles. And he goes, "Hey dude, what's your name? I'm about to tentacle your dick."
I was gonna say, that's some hentai shit right there.
It is. Taco has some great lines. I think everyone's favorite is from the fight with Magic Brian, where he says, "Abraca, fuck you."
Abracadabra, fuck you, whatever. It sounds like a Harry Potter blooper.
But yeah, I don't know. There's just so many good things about this podcast. There's so many good world building. Griffin, who is the DM, the youngest brother, the babyest brother.
I was gonna say, he's the youngest, right?
Yes. He just creates a great world and so many good, like, NPCs. And I don't know, like, I have a thing for just, like, kind of story podcasts. I used to be really into, Welcome to Night Vale.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
You introduced that to me, and I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, this is cool.
I don't know. I think the Adventure Zone is really worth getting into, especially if you have at least some interest in D&D.
Yeah.
It kind of starts off slow, but it gets just so interesting
That's
and
with
worth it.
That's with every D&D.
And it starts off very funny and humorous, but there's also a lot of weak points, and there's so much character development. And I really, really love this podcast. Again, I've listened to it 3 times.
80 hour. Oh my, that's 240 hours. Wow. So you've listened.
No, it's like about 80 hours total.
Yeah, but you've listened through the entire podcast.
Oh yeah, 3 times. And it's just such a good, and the McRoys are such, I don't know, good people. I listen to so many of their podcasts now. Like I told you, I listen to My Brother and Me. I also listen to 2 other podcasts. One which is Griffin and his wife called Wonderful, which actually I think if you're getting started in podcasts is a really easy podcast to listen to, because it's basically an enthusiast podcast where they just talk about things they like.
Hey!
Things that make them happy.
Okay.
So I would very much think many people would be interested in that, because it's things from like musicians, but also like these 6 seconds of this song make me really happy, or like this one candy makes me really happy.
I can imagine doing like an episode like...
Yeah. And also like Rachel Griffin's wife just has like the most pleasant voice to listen to. And then I listened to a podcast with Justin and his wife where it's a medical history podcast, which I'm not going to recommend if history's not really your thing.
It's not.
But it is fun because you can learn about. I think there might be episodes which might be interesting to hear because they do a lot of random stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of just funny stuff. But yeah, they have a whole like family of podcasts that I've really grown to love, and I really love them as people as well. They're just like really good dudes, like through and through, great dudes. And also, if any of this sounds interesting to you, in the summer they're coming out with the graphic novel of the Adventure Zone. Here There Be Goblins arc.
Goblins. It's still funny.
It's so
Here
funny.
There Be Goblins.
Yeah, I don't know. I am doing a really bad job describing how much I really truly love the world.
It's really hard to describe stuff like that stuff that you love so much, because it's like so much of it is like so internal, and you just feel these feelings, and you're just like, about the best way to describe it is just flail your hands up in the air and just be like, oh my god, I just love this so much.
I didn't even mention like all the good NPCs. Like I mentioned Killian, and like one of the ways this podcast ends is with Killian marrying Carrie Fangbattle, who is her partner.
Okay.
Who is not only like her partner in romance, but also her partner in like fighting for the B.O.B.
Her partner in crime.
Yes, who is what's it called? She's like not a thief, but a rogue.
Okay.
She's a rogue who teaches Magnus like rogue stuff and becomes very close to him. And then you have, I mentioned Angus MacDonald, boy detective.
Yeah.
Who's like a 10-year-old boy who like is the world's best detective.
The young orc boy?
No.
Aw.
No, he's
I like the young orc boy.
No, we forget about him.
Aw, the young orc boy.
Great.
I just like love young orc boy. Just like the same
young
way.
Orc boy.
Just the same way I love saying cappuccino cart.
Yeah.
The cappuccino. Hey, want to go get a? Whenever there's a cappuccino cart at Disneyland, and whenever we go,
yeah.
it's always like, "Hey, do you want to go to the cappuccino? You want to go get a cappuccino from the cappuccino cart? I'd love to go get a cappuccino from the cappuccino cart.
Yeah.
I'm Doug Dibadone, owner of the Dimsdale Dibadone."
Yeah, and there's like Avi, who is a member of the B.O.B.
Avi.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Dad. And who is kind of like the person who fires them into their destination in a glass ball.
Yeah. Anyway.
He mans the cannon.
Okay.
And when they first arrive at the B.O.B.,
Hi, Dad.
he gives
look
them.
at me. I'm firing a cannon.
He gives them some liquor to calm them on their arrival. And then like kind of like not really as important characters, but like their roommate Pringles, who has a real name that I forget, but
these names.
No, like Griffin had like a real name for him. The characters just name him Pringles because like they went on a trip, and he's like, "Oh hey dudes, can you give me Pringles?" Because he is basically like a potions dealer where he's just like mixing up some of that good.
Yeah, it's good shit.
And so they just keep referring to him as Pringles. And so it's just like fun things like that.
Yeah.
And they also have Jess the Beheader, who is part of like the fantasy WWE, and they have like a live show where they go and like to one of her shows.
Oh my god.
Where, fun fact, Clark comes and he is one of the wrestlers. And it's just, there's so many good fun characters, and the arcs are just so good.
It's okay.
And I really think a lot of people would enjoy it, and I think you would enjoy it, but I know this is a very big undertaking.
It sounds like something I would listen to over a long period of time.
Yes, I listened to it in about a week. The first time I listened to it.
Well, 80 hours is just, I mean, that's a little over 3 days.
Yeah, so this is before I started working again, and there was basically this week where I did nothing but listen to the Adventure Zone. And I think it's one of the things where it is such a weird feeling, because I can remember like sitting in my chair listening to the Crystal Kingdom, where they find the Philosopher's Stone, and just remembering that moment. And it's just like, that is again my favorite like arc. Oh, I love it so much. And I love these characters so much.
I may have to listen to this, actually.
Yeah.
See, that's a huge difference between me and you. It's like, I tell you all this stuff, and you're like, yeah, no, I'm not going to watch it. And me, I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. You know, I may actually have to watch it.
Well, I think it's because you talk a lot about movies, and I'm not a movie person. But it's like, it's fun to hear about.
Yeah. Well, maybe next time I'll tell you about how did this get made or something.
Yeah. But it's such a good... And I think now's the time where I show you some of it. I'm not going to make you listen to an episode because they're like an hour long.
Yeah.
But they actually just released an animated trailer on YouTube that we went to show you. And then maybe show you some other things like the music from the Crystal Kingdom.
Okay.
And a lot of people make little animations of scenes. So that is my plan.
Okay.
And then we can kind of come back and you can give your thoughts.
Okay.
And there we will be.
This is a lot of information.
It is a lot of information.
Like, my
Again,
brain is dying.
it is 80 hours of story.
Yeah.
And I covered it very, very briefly.
Yeah.
As brief as I could with doing it an ounce of justice.
Okay.
I was hoping to use your computer.
Okay. All right.
Pulled from my home inside a cloud, lost to the dark, I drift alone. Now I'm returned beyond the shroud, ever to reign upon my throne, here in my crystal kingdom.
Okay, so I've shown a small snippet of stuff.
I think I'm going to start listening to it.
Yes.
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 Just one of the things I forget about D&D is like, especially how when you describe it, it sounds like this big epic adventure, minus the names of said folk.
What,
but,
you're not into Berry Blue Jeans?
No, I'm totally into Berry Blue Jeans and Nick Baines.
Berry Blue Jeans is a treasure.
Okay, yes, I'm sure. Or like Taco, but it's like
Taco. Oh, my love.
But
the love of my life.
Yeah, but it's like I hear about like this incredible adventure, but then you listen to it, and then it's like, oh, yeah, it's like 4 dudes sitting around a table.
Yeah, not even a table. So they all live in different areas, which I forgot to mention.
Are you serious? They're not even with each other?
So Travis lives in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
Justin and their dad live in Huntington, Virginia, where they're originally from, and Griffin lives in Austin, Texas.
So they're not
They do this via Skype.
Wow.
With no visual aid. It is completely audio and like
Jesus
speech,
Christ.
which I think is why it also creates a special kind of atmosphere, because even for us and them, it's just a pure audio story, and so Griffin has to do a lot of world building just through storytelling. So it's a very story heavy podcast.
All right. I should tell my friend Nick about this. Maybe he'll be into this. Because he's into very wordy stories. Like, he loves Lord of the Rings. He hated Mad Max Fury Road because there was no talking in it. Barely any talking in it. But
they actually take a break from D&D in this podcast to play a game Griffin invented that, I don't know if you know about, like, the Monster of the Week game?
No.
Which kind of takes, on, like, supernatural Buffy things where every week there's a new monster they have to fight.
Okay.
And so there's like a system, a different playing system that you only use like 2 6-sided dice for. Griffin kind of based his game off that. Okay. And so it lends to a more story element, and that's kind of how they get through the Stolen Century.
Okay. But no, I could definitely listen to myself seeing this.
You could see yourself listening to this.
Yes.
It is.
It's like I'm gonna go. It's like I start the sentence. I'm committing to this.
Like I said, I was doing, I think, a relatively poor job describing it, but that's the theme of the podcast. Okay. I'm an idiot trying to explain something much bigger than me.
You freaking idiot. No. No, it's okay.
But yes.
God, that was a lot of information. I haven't felt this brain dead and information heavy since like RuPaul's.
Oh really?
Oh my god.
There's a lot of information in my topics.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I also showed you some music, because Griffin creates a lot of music for the show. And I showed you 2 pieces from the Crystal Kingdom, which I feel like have a very heavy atmosphere to them. And I thought that was a good example.
It was. Alright, yeah. No, I'm probably, honestly, I'll probably start listening to this. Can't guarantee I'll make it all the way through, but
I think you'll get hooked.
Yeah.
Well.
Anything else?
Nothing. Oh, one last thing. There's a character named Geralt who is a magical binacorn that Taco can summon whenever he pleases.
Is that the one that was wearing the sunglasses? Yes. Okay. I was wondering about that.
He's a binacorn.
Cool.
Named Geralt.
All right.
Well, that's been the episode.
I'm calling this one.
Yes, we're both very tired.
We're both, yeah.
My voice is slowly dying.
Yeah, so, yeah, all right.
Picard is brain dead.
Your voice dead.
My voice dead.
And we're done.
I hope you all, the 2 people
power
who
through
listen, power through this, and the 2 people who probably listen to this, check it out if you're interested, because I truly love it.
But seriously, though, Grivas, I will probably listen to this.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for powering through, guys. We'll see you all next time.
Thank you.
Which is funny because it's a podcast and nobody sees anything.
We'll see ya later, my dudes.
All right.
Finger guns.
And we're done.
And scene.